The hills of Shimla have always carried whispers, of colonial homes where the walls never warmed, of pine forests that seem to lean closer when you walk alone, of roads where footsteps follow you long after yours have stopped. Among all those tales, one has lingered the longest, the woman in white. I never believed them until last winter. I had traveled from Delhi to Shimla with 3 friends. The city in December is a different place, a postcard of snow-dusted rooftops, twisting, alleys and markets glowing with lanterns. Tourists crowded Mall Road by day, laughing, eating roasted corn, clicking photos, but when the fog rolled in at night, the streets emptied fast. Shimla doesn't like to be awake after midnight. We had booked a guest house on the outskirts, near a patch of pine forest. The caretaker, an old man with clouded eyes, handed us the keys without a smile. "Don't go out after dark," he said, voice rough as gravel. We laughed it off. It felt like every hill town had its warnings. That first evening, wandered through the forest trails before dinner. The air was crisp, scented with resin. It was the kind of silence you feel in your chest, too heavy, too deliberate. Even the wind seemed to stop. The forest loomed. Around us, the trees skeletal, dripping with mist. We walked in a line, our footsteps crunching the frosted ground. Then we heard it. At first it was faint, a shuffle, like someone dragging their feet through wet leaves. We stopped, listening. It came again, closer. Samir swung his flashlight wildly, but the beam caught nothing but fog. "Probably an animal," Rohit whispered, "but no animal walks like that." We turned back toward the guest house, walking faster now. That's when Anjali gasped. "Look." Her beam had landed on a figure standing among the trees. A woman. She wore a white shawl that glowed faintly in the fog, her body still as stone. Her face was pale, blurred by the mist, but her eyes reflected the light like glass. None of us spoke. None of us breathed. Then she smiled. It was slow, too slow, as if the skin of her face cracked into place. We ran without thinking, stumbling through roots and rocks, hearts slamming against our ribs. I didn't dare look back, but I heard it. The shuffle of her steps behind us, steady, tireless. When we burst into the guest house, we slammed the door shut and bolted it. The caretaker was waiting, lantern in hand. He didn't look surprised. "You saw her," he said flatly. Rohit was shaking. Who is she?" The caretaker set the lantern down. "They call her the woman in white. Some say she was a bride, left waiting at the altar 100 years ago. Some say she was a mother searching for her lost child. But I know this. Once she sees you, she doesn't forget." We hardly slept that night. I kept hearing footsteps outside the windows, circling the house. At one point, I swore I heard her whisper my name. By morning, we wanted to leave, but the roads were blocked by fresh snowfall. We were trapped for another night. We tried to distract ourselves, but unease hung heavy. At dinner, even the caretaker seemed restless. "Stay inside your rooms tonight," he warned. "No matter what you hear, do not open the door." We obeyed. But fear doesn't vanish when the lights go out. Around midnight, the knocking started. It was soft at first, like someone politely rapping on wood. We froze in our beds, staring at the door. The knocking grew louder, more insistent. Then came the voice. "Let me in." It was a woman's voice, calm, coaxing. "It's so cold out here. Please, just open the door." "Don't answer. Don't move." The knocking stopped. For a moment, silence. Relief flooded me until I realized the sound hadn't stopped. It had moved. Now it was at the window. I turned my head slowly. Through the frost-glazed glass, a face stared in. White, smiling, eyes wide and unblinking. Her hand pressed against. The pain leaving no mark, no breath. My scream caught in my throat. The lights flickered, then died. In the dark, I felt something move between our beds. A brush of cold air, a shift in the floorboards. Someone was inside. Rohit fumbled for his phone, its screen throwing a weak glow. For one instant, it lit the room. And she was there, standing at the foot of Anjali's bed. Her smile stretched, impossibly wide now, her face pale as bone. She leaned forward, her hair spilling like wet ropes, her eyes fixed on Anjali. "Come with me," she whispered. The phone slipped from Rohit's hand. Darkness swallowed us again. What happened next is a blur of screams, pounding footsteps, and the caretaker bursting into the room with his lantern. The woman vanished as suddenly as she had appeared, melting back into the dark, but Anjali was gone. We searched the house, the forest, the roads. She had simply disappeared. We left Shimla as soon as the roads cleared. None of us spoke. On the way back, the silence was heavier than grief. Weeks later, in Delhi, I was sorting through my phone. In the middle of my photos, I found one I hadn't taken. It showed the four of us in the guest house room. I was on the left, Rohit and Samir on the right, and in the middle sat Anjali, smiling. But standing behind her was the woman in white. Her hands rested on Anjali's shoulders, her smile stretching wide. And though I've deleted that photo 100 times, it always comes back. Sometimes, late at night, I hear a soft knock on my door.